Now listen, if you're the kind of person who thinks adding Coke to a 15-year-old single malt is acceptable, you might just be the reason this podcast exists. Welcome to the Non-Chill Filtered Podcast, where we unpack whiskey like it's emotional baggage.
And we are live. Welcome to another episode of Non-Chill Filtered. I am your host, Jez, and I am sitting within the Bacardi offices in Sydney. It's actually really cool to be here, and I've got some cool guests as well. Some beautiful ladies sitting across from me. I'm very lucky. It's like 20 past 5 in the afternoon. I've got angels in one hand, and I am looking at two angels.
Wow. We'll take it.
I just handed it out. So, ladies, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Sure. I am new to Sydney as of 36 hours ago. My name is Angel Teta, and I am the Global Brand Ambassador for Angel's Envy.
And I am not new to Sydney, but my name is Kayla Gregorio, and I am the National Brand Ambassador for Angel's Envy. Very excited to be sat across from you.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. You know the way to my heart.
Yeah, Angel's Envy.
Yeah, that's exactly. We don't have this in video, but I am rocking the uniform this evening.
It's true. Thank you for showing up and showing up properly.
That's okay. There was no questions asked. I rolled in. You girls are doing like some evening tea.
Yeah,
and,
little cocktails.
Yeah, little cocktails. And I'm like, what is going on here? No one kind of thought twice to go, what is this guy doing here? It's just like, nope, showed up in the
kit. The uniform. That's why. It's an Angel's Envy t-shirt.
It's true, yeah. We're like, let him in. It's like when you show up to in a black shirt to an event you're not invited to, you just go in the back door. I'm here with catering.
I work here.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. So I'll kick off. Kayla, do you want to run us through your start with the brand?
Yeah, sure. So I've worked for Bacardi for the past 3 years. Originally, I was looking after Grey Goose as the brand ambassador, but last year came on board as the BA for Angel's Envy. So essentially, I go around the country talking the good talk about the delicious juice. I do a lot of education, a few different activations, a lot of the whiskey shows, but really I have a very easy job. I have a really great brand that I love to talk about, a really great story. The bottle is pretty, so that also helps, right? But my job's pretty easy. I don't have to sell it. That's what the sales team do. I just talk about it and tell the story and pour it into people's glasses, really.
Which is a terrible problem to have.
Really hard.
Yeah, empty glasses is a big problem, especially at Bacardi. So,
correct.
And for you, Angel, how did you land in the beautiful company of Angel's Envy? The name is fitting, by the way.
Yes, that always comes up. I do not own the company, thank God. That'd be a lot of responsibility and not a lot of experience in bourbon making, at least. But I came in through the beverage industry, so pretty much bartend since it was barely legal for me to do in Florida. And then I moved out to Portland, Oregon around 2006. I started running bar programs there. And when Angel's Envy launched, they had a bit of a different model for their ambassadors, something that really wasn't done in the States at the time, where they hired people part-time that were bartenders because as the gatekeepers, when the consumers come in and they ask the bartenders always, what do you prefer to drink? So the mere power of suggestion goes a long way. And when you're launching a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey that has been finished in something, back then it was not done. So who better to advocate for the program and for the whiskey itself than the people who are serving it or would be on the daily? So I was approached when I was in Portland about being a part-time ambassador for them called a Whiskey Guardian. And the interview was about 5 minutes because my name was Angel. And I was literally instructed, like, you're going to be great. Don't worry about it as long as you don't, F up too hard, basically. And now it's been 12 years. So wow. I think I did okay. Still going. The brand itself launched in 2011, so it's been really cool for me personally to see the incredible, meteoric. Is that how we say it? Just a crazy growth. We call it a hockey stick in the industry because it was flat for a very short amount of time, and now it's just been climbing, like the actual stick of the hockey. Kind of building the plane as we're flying it, but it's been working out okay. People seem to love us, which is nice. So when I started, we were 5,000 cases. Now we're almost to 400,000.
Just mental.
Mental, yes, that's a good word for it. And I was the national. I didn't get promoted. There was an interview process for a lot of really qualified candidates, but landed the national guardian position in 2019. And then I moved to Louisville when we expanded our distillery in downtown on historic Whiskey Row in 2022, and I was promoted then for the global brand ambassador position.
So what is a day in the life of a global brand ambassador? Because, you've got Kayla here, and all she does is shop to whiskey shows and pour whiskey into people's mouths.
Correct.
Which is a tough gig in itself. And it looks like you do the same thing, but you now have a first-class ticket around the world.
Oh, not always first class, my friend, but tell my boss that, please.
It's, just email this to Owen and go, Owen, mate, you have to sort the girls out. Yeah, that's it. Well, we can't have anything less for the angel herself.
Oh, my gosh. People probably say this as an answer, but it depends on the day. Within my responsibilities, I set the cocktail strategy for the brand. Head of brand education is like the SIR title of my title. So I develop all the education to train the trainers. Everything from on Angel's Envy solely to we developed a really incredible comprehensive education on American whiskey. We have an oak masterclass to talk about the trees and why and what. And
fits the triple oak branding as well.
Yeah.
I like that.
And also, just as far as the oak that goes into the cask for the port and all of those things. Fortified wine education we developed from tip to toe with every fortified wine that exists on the planet Earth that we know so far, I guess. And so my day could be answering emails, building a deck, building a strategy for Tales of the Cocktail. What does our experiential look like? What are the cocktails that will support that? What's the POS, like the cool giveaways and stuff that we're going to develop? How do we make this premium? To flying to Seoul as being the first global ambassador for whiskey within the Angel's Envy portfolio, which was really cool. I got to go to Korea and do some guest bartending. So
it's amazing.
I sat behind a bar. Well, I didn't sit. I stood behind a bar and made specialty cocktails for a lot of people at Pine & Co., which is a really cool place. Anyways, that's a day in life that was last week. I started with a master class for trade, went to a couple accounts to say hi and see. It's really just about like what the market needs and then responding to that rather than having a program schedule. It's never the same, and it shouldn't be. If you really want to get your brand sort of out there in the right way, in my opinion, it's to take in the culture and the customs of wherever you are and then apply Angel's Envy from there rather than saying, this is who we are and you have to figure it out. So that day could change varied on whoever I'm kind of talking to. I customize it to them because why wouldn't you?
Which totally tracks.
Great.
Like it's, I get that. So we can kind of thank you for the Toast of the Trees branding that was released. How involved were you with that one?
I actually did sit at the meeting. That was back in, oh gosh.
Because we're talking early. That's what,
2014?
Ooh.
Yeah, 2014 or 2015. It was before Bacardi. We were acquired by Bacardi. So we wanted to do something from a standpoint of sustainability and then really bring in the knowledge of, we only use these casks once and we do have to think about the future. And that was, honestly, it was before, we saw a huge influx of every company ever, buy a pair of socks, we'll plant a tree, which is great, dude. Awesome. The more trees, the better. Let's all get on this train.
Absolutely.
But I did sit in that meeting. I did not conceptualize it. It was something from our old VP, essentially. Her name was Sam Seiler. We're still friends to this day. She hired me, and she challenged the brand and the marketing team to be what can we do outside of the box? We used to call it AE for the trees, and then they were like, we got to shorten this hashtag.
Yeah, it's massive.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Then it got shortened to Toast the Trees, and with the evolution of social media, the program has evolved as well. Hashtags aren't as important; it's hard to track and all of these things, but the ethos of the program still stands. And I did have a little bit of a part in that, like how can we involve the trade? How can we make them care? And then what does it look like on the ground versus social media wise? Like you can do a lot of things virtually, but we actually need to get these trees in the ground somehow. So we did a lot of like urban plantings. We brought people to Kentucky to plant in an old, how do you call it? It's like it used to be like mined for coal and stuff. And
like
then
a coal mine.
Like a coal mine, thank
Yep.
you. Mine for coal. Wow,
Yep,
there we are.
a quarry?
A quarry?
There we go.
I can't say quarry. Anyways, we'll get into that later.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
No, that sounds right. What?
Okay. Sounds
Quarry?
good.
Yeah.
I always think I say it quarry, like in a weird, like New York way. My mom's from New York, so there's like a
Yeah.
little bit of that. But anyways, it's a national park now, a national forest, and we went in and planted more trees because it's kind of like the earth was kind of tilled for all it was worth. So that was a big part. But now we're focusing more on urban planting for the Toasted Trees program because we found that people, while they want to save the earth and do the right thing, they really want to do what's right for them in their community now. So planting full-grown trees was a lot more impactful than saplings, and covering the urban canopy in places like Louisville, where it's higher temperatures, pavement, all of that. Getting an urban canopy planted really does help immediately. So that's kind of where the focus went.
And Louisville's so dense as well. Like, I remember like being there, say April, and there was just not many trees.
Yeah.
Like, there's not like parks you'd see here. Like I'd say Hyde Park, or I was trying to think of another park we have in Sydney. But it's there's a little bit of foliage. They're still making room for it, but yeah, in Louisville, there's not much, especially being in the heart of downtown.
Yeah, the waterfront is probably the most like concentrated of trees and things. There was a huge effort to replant and make that a beautiful green space for all. There are small little parks within. Once you get kind of more outside like even 5 minutes outside of downtown, Cave Hill Cemetery is a huge, beautiful park. It's a cemetery, but it's really a park. Like, it's beautiful. But yes, you're correct. We need to cover the canopy a little bit more and restore it. And there's a lot of projects within downtown Louisville Tourism, and the Nulu Commission, essentially, that are all meeting up and trying every day, how can we improve the community? So it is on its way, and I'm lucky to live there and kind of be a part of that.
Is there anything else Angels Envy is doing to really support the community, especially in downtown Louisville?
Yes, 100%. We sit on, there's a lot of different factors. We have about 125 people that work within the distillery or the office, and then everybody kind of does their part. So production talks about procurement, how we can make like shipping, distillery noise, the trucks coming in and out that are delivering the grains and everything. How can we minimize our impact as far as water, energy? So our distillery pretty much exists off of like recycled water, except for the fresh that we're putting in the spirit itself. LED, like all of the things we can do. We pay for composting, which doesn't come with the city's regulations. They don't pay for it. So we have an outside company come in so we can compost and make sure everything's properly recycled. We sit on the board essentially to improve downtown and what it looks like in the next 5, 10, 20 years. There's a lot of development coming up that we've been a part of, which is really cool because as these people come in to develop, we want to make sure no one's doing double work, and we're not like, we don't need 1,000 restaurants. We have a lot. We need public spaces. We need a grocery store. We need certain like parts of the community that we don't have right now. For people who maybe don't have a car, the walkability, all of that. So that is all taken into consideration, and we work closely. Our GM of the distillery, D. Ford, works really closely with the Kentucky Distillers Association to make sure that we're not only doing things that are right for Angels Envy, but for overall all the distilleries of which work and live out of downtown Louisville.
Okay. Walkability is important. I like traversing downtown Louisville, and there is a fair few amount of distilleries within that, say, like region there. Mm-hmm. Like moving between those distilleries is a fairly easy task. But like once you start to expand outside of there, like I guess moving around the Louisville becomes a bit of a struggle. I thought you could just Uber from, say, Louisville to another, I'd say, I don't know, Lexington. You can't. It is
You
an
can.
hour and a
It'll
half.
just
Well,
be
it's-
like $200.
yeah, I was like moving around within the, I'd say the city limits of Kentucky was like mind blowing. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how big it was.
It's super spread out.
Yeah.
I
It's-
think even Louisville, I might be wrong, but even Louisville feels spread out in
Yeah.
comparison to Sydney, which is quite
dense.
dense.
Yeah.
Like it's all in the same area. Whereas you're at Angel's Envy and then you go to the Pearl, right?
Yeah.
You can't walk there.
You could. It'll take you like.
It'll take forever.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
take like an hour. Well, that's the thing about like, for me, it's kind of apples to oranges. Like, Sydney's an international city, and Louisville is like not even on the top 50 probably of population wise for cities in America.
Which is crazy. Like the amount of bourbon that is being produced within, say, Kentucky, and it is not an international destination. Like you ask, like my people, the Bogans, and you know where they want to go, and it's like it's Jim Beam, it's Jack Daniels, it's every other one of the bourbon that's being produced within those city limits. The fact that, well, Jack Daniels is a little bit further down, but the fact that it's not on like everyone's international tour destination is mind-blowing.
Well, I mean, that's changing, but it won't change the city's infrastructure
No,
overnight.
no.
So it's something that we're working on. In fact, the Urban Bourbon Trail is what we call downtown Louisville now. That we were the first full production Kentucky bourbon whiskey distillery to establish themselves in downtown Louisville on historic Whiskey Row since Prohibition. So it's nearly 100 years ago, almost, right?
Yeah,
We're almost
1920
there.
to 1933, we're pretty close.
Right. So we broke ground in 2013. Evan Williams broke ground, I think, or filed for their permit, or it was at Old Forester. One of them filed for their permit within a day that we did. Like, again, working with the Kentucky Distillers Association, we're competitors, quote unquote, but we're all working together to really uplift the category. So there was a definite push where it's like, okay, we're going to make a new wave of Kentucky bourbon and bring it back to where it started. Because before Prohibition, there were over 100 businesses that were related to, whether it's financial, barrel, shipping, or making the whiskey on historic Whiskey Row. When Prohibition happened, they moved the distilleries out where it wasn't so much under a lens. And then why would you come back if you've established everything already in the far reaches? And
sense.
like, just to bring it up, the Jack is actually in Tennessee, so that's a whole other state.
Yeah.
So Lynchburg, I think, is 6
4.5
hour drive.
hours
Yeah.
out of downtown?
Yeah, and then a whole other state. So you definitely need like a car for that. But
I was going to do the drive when I was there. I was like, 4.5 hours. Then I'm like,
you can't even legally drink in that county. I mean, I don't know why
no.
you go.
Why would you go? Yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding. But there was the Bourbon Trail, so it was like the big 8, right? All the bourbon distilleries that were out there. And Lincoln's dream was to bring, for reference, the man who created our whiskey.
Lincoln Henderson.
Yeah. He wanted to bring it back downtown where it started. He had a real thing for history. So we did that, and now we have Peerless and Rabbit Hole, and the newest thing are urban or satellite tasting rooms, essentially. So Green River's done one, Bardstown Bourbon's done one. Whistle Pig bought an old bank that was a billiards hall, and now they're going to make the Whistle Piggy Bank or something like this.
Oh, cute.
Which
I know,
is
it's cute.
Crazy.
It is crazy. Heaven's Door bought an old church, and they made a venue, and they're still figuring all of that out. So we're seeing a lot of foot traffic, and that's a big part of Louisville tourism. We work with them a lot. They are an incredible organization, bringing tourism essentially like all of the airport routes, and you can drive, like 60% of the population of America supposedly can drive, like Louisville is within a 5-hour drive.
Which is like mind-blowing.
Right.
How, like,
So
'cause-
central.
Because it's Chicago, it's New Orleans,
Yeah.
it's Alabama, it's Tennessee, it's Indiana, it's Ohio, it's Charleston or the Carolinas. All of these places you can get to Louisville in. So it is a big part of us, not to make Angel's Envy the top of mind, but to make Louisville top of mind. So you'll go to Chicago and say, like, travel a little bit south and find out what it's all about. Like really cute things. I partner with them for London Cocktail Week because there's a huge travel conference that happens the week before London Cocktail Week. So I'll go in and do some media and trade dinners and things for the people in the tourism industry, and then just tack on a few more days to stay for London Cocktail Week. And they fully support that because they know cocktails are driving traffic to bourbon. So it's really cool. I think in 5 years' time, Louisville is going to look not drastically different, but there's so much development coming in a positive way. I don't know. I think the only way is up.
Which it makes sense. Like the amount of attention bourbon is getting at the moment, we're like seeing a downtrend, but it's only because everyone spent all their money during COVID buying all these bottles that they're never going to drink through. Like I was doing some numbers the other day with my like personal selection, and it's going to take me 33 years to drink through all of it.
Holy Christ, how big is your house?
It's I just moved. It's not even that big. It's a 2-bedroom apartment in Sydney. But like
Congrats.
33 years. It's more of a hindrance than I guess.
You'll never want to move.
I hate moving. I just moved and I'm like, this took 13 hours. I am glad I paid someone to cut all the booze around. But are you guys seeing a shift in the market in what people are buying, whether it's just your core range or whether they're spending more money going up market with your latest tequila cask or your triple wood release or...
It's a great question. I think maybe the downturn... I don't think there's a downturn for the category. We're still growing. Kentucky bourbon in a premium. We're the fastest growing ultra premium in the category. I think buying select casks or vintage pours or those things, maybe it's falling. Like we're seeing maybe there's a surplus from other distilleries that reacted to the turn. They had the ability to react to the turn by upping production and getting things in barrels. We are pretty, not limited, but essentially we only have the one still. We only have the one thing that fills a barrel. We only have so much land to put barrels on. So we've stayed consistent as far as production goes. Slight increases with our consumer base. There's something about Angel's Envy, and I think it's because maybe it's a new bourbon in the category and it really established this finished bourbon category where people feel a certain amount of ownership over Angel's Envy a bit. It's the spirit they shared. It's like, you've drank this, or that, but have you tried this? We find that our consumer is mostly obsessed with traveling and memories and experiences and showing people through tasting and new fun things. And with Angel's Envy, they're able to do that. They make like a trip of coming down to the distillery to get things that are only released there. So we have we don't have like the lines as much, like down past the interstate and everything else, because I think people have found different avenues with e-com. Everything's changed after COVID, right? You had to make everything available for people to get shipped or have a buddy come pick it up for you to make sure you're getting it. So that model has changed. So we're not seeing as much of like waiting and camping out because they're able to get the bottles in other avenues. But like the tequila launch went so well. And the great thing about Owen is that he's not a fan of making whiskey that not everyone can try. So he challenged us as a company, if I'm going to release something, I want to make sure at least some other people besides the ones that can show up in person can get it. Because what's the point? We make spirits to share, and if we can't share them, then why?
What's the point?
Yeah, and I love that about him. Like Triple Oak, for instance, that you mentioned, that was going to be a test and learn, essentially, that he wanted. He's like, let's get outside. Why do we put ourselves in our own box? Why are we boxing ourselves in? So let's see what just the casks can do. They don't have to necessarily hold a previous spirit or whatever, or a wine. I can show you what our whiskey can do in different oaks. So he created Triple Oak. It was amazing. We were just going to do it as a distillery only released. And then Gigi, our VP, tried it. And she's like, I think this is my new favorite whiskey. Can we do this in like a few more
this
markets?
Might be good.
Yeah, this is really great. Can we do it in a few more markets? Do we have the capability production-wise? And Owen said, of course, yes, no problem. And then the commercial director, we were all sitting in a meeting, and he was like, can we do this in all 50 states? He was like, give me some time. Yeah, I think so. You know, we need another 6 months to finish. And so then it went from distillery only in like late summer to a 10 state release in November to making it 50 states in March. And that's the power of when you know your juice is good, and when you have a commercial director behind you who wants to get this out, and when you have a VP who believes in what you're doing. And then my team followed up with an incredible comprehensive education that did a deep dive into each of those casks, the New American cask, and then what all of that did to end up in the spirit that we love, which is Triple Oak, which is so good. It's basically like top level note. It's a global take on a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and it's really cool.
I was able to try the 3 separate components of the blend, and them on their own is incredible. Like, it's truly special whiskey that's, I guess, interacting with that wood, and then being able to meticulously blend that into this finished product that is now like a stateside release. Hopefully we'll see some here. Hope some press. But
absolutely, the goal is to get it everywhere at some point. You know, again, we have a job to be done to become known. This is our flagship. The port finish is our flagship. So that's the first job whenever we launch anywhere, is to establish ourselves there. But for me, we've had kind of a 2-legged table, which was like fine. We could put some things on that surface. But now with Triple Oak, we have like a 3-legged solid base to not only educate people, but you can choose, you know, if you want something spicy and sweet, you've got the rye. If you want something kind of that softens the shoulders of your straight bourbon, you have the port finish. And then if you want more of a traditional sort of but intriguing take, you do the Triple Oak. But my favorite thing about it is that we have an availability and in like practice and in person to put the port finish against the Triple Oak, and it's the same base that we distill and age. Triple Oak's just a little bit older, but it truly shows you in person what the barrel does. You can taste the port finish and you taste the Triple Oak, and sometimes it's really hard, especially in America, because they're not as familiar like in Euro or even in Australia or Japan, where secondary finishing is just a thing that everybody kind of gets. It's still like the conversation is a little bit not tough, but it's just like a more of a lengthy conversation about secondary maturation, so people can physically taste what the barrel does, because it's the same stuff. It's the same mash bill. It's pretty much the same aging. Like 1 year of aging is not going to make a huge difference in the New American White Oak. It makes a slight difference, but what the biggest difference here in the flavor profile comes from the finishing barrels, and people oh, it's like a light bulb moment.
It's funny you led us down this road, because this was one of the questions I had to ask you. Since you've been at the start of Angel's Envy, you're like there since conception, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like give or take a few years.
Yeah, it doesn't make that much of a
difference.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Said,
Yeah, even then, like you said, a year doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. How was it changing people's mind about secondary finishing with bourbon? Because
it was a rough go, my friend. It was a rough go.
True bourbonites, they don't want a bar of port finish. They like, I guess it has to be new charred American oak from, say, X to X. It needs to be 110, 9 years old, and slap a label on it, send it out the door. The fact that you guys are releasing it as a port finish, you're not introducing your own new charred American oak release. It is purely just port finish goodness. Here you go, in a bottle.
Yeah.
How was it? Getting in their hands.
I'm an optimist, and it was a rough go.
Yeah.
No. For that, like, again, why do you put yourself in your own box? Like, I'm an equal opportunity drinker. I'll try anything once at least. But I think I guess I can sum it up in a small story. So when we first launched, we did a national meeting, quote unquote, and it was only in 10 or 15 markets at the time, and they got us all together and flew us to Louisville to learn from Lincoln and to do a little exploration of other distilleries and get it was basically an immersive educational trip for the ambassadors, the Whiskey Guardians. So 15 or so of us gathered, and Lincoln talked about things for about 2 hours in the basement of Doc Crow's. Which,
Love it.
Yeah, we were like balling on a budget at that point. We had no money.
Still on Whiskey Row, though, so it's fine.
Yeah, it just looks a little better now, I will say that. So the point of my story is that Lincoln said, so what's going on, y'all? How's it feel in the market? And everyone's like, nobody wants it. Why do we have wings on the back? People think we look like Affliction, which is a terrible brand of. Well, no, they're fine, I guess. I don't know. They're a clothing brand, and they had wings on everything, and it was yeah, very much Vegas. So, which no offense, it was a choice. And where is your juice from? That was a huge thing because we didn't have our own distillery. And so Lincoln kind of like laughed it all off, and he goes, here's the thing, y'all. I've been making whiskey a long time. Nobody wants to drink it. Fuck them. We're like, what? He was like, honestly, we're going to keep making it. I know it's good. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Probably won't be around to see it. And just this like laissez-faire attitude of, I was like, my mind is blown, 1. And 2, great. I don't have any sales KPIs. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And he taught me more about whiskey in like 45 minutes than I'd ever learned, honestly, almost since. Owen is teaching me more things. There's a lot of commonalities between him and Lincoln, which is so reassuring. But it taught me that no matter the challenges, just continue. If you believe in it, people might come around and maybe they won't, but I'm not going to push anybody to do anything. If you'd like to, great. You're an adult. Make your own decision. I'm just going to provide you with the education, what it is. And any questions, I will be as transparent as possible, which I think we are as a company. I pride myself on that. But in Portland especially, it was the locality. Like, it's not from here, and you can't tell me where it's from. Also, these wings are like, what is this bottle? It doesn't look like anything. And then I just continued. Like, okay, great. No problem. You don't want this? Great. Or I don't have room for it. That was one of my fun things. When somebody would tell me they didn't have room on the back bar for it, I'd be like, well, what's not selling here? Because that looks like it's been here for 2 months. And they're like, oh, yeah, this blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, how much is it? This much. Can I buy the rest of the bottle? And if I do, you'll put Angel's Envy on the thing? Because I want to try what this whiskey is and why it's not selling. And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that worked for me a lot, which was great because it was like, and I called my boss. I was like, can I buy something else? And she's like, sure, why not? So anyways, Angel's Envy did have its challenges, but about 2 years in, maybe, rather than me going and pitching, everyone was coming to me. And they're like, hey, you're doing really cool activations. Can we be a part of it? Hey, do you know, I learned more about this Lincoln guy and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, I heard you're building your own distillery. And, like, it just started compiling. And then all of a sudden, it didn't matter. They liked that the bottle was different. They liked the wings as an icon. They were like, the juice has always been good. The perception, you're just new on the block. And it's like, yeah. And, I had a very, very prominent distiller sit across from me at one dinner, telling me that, I went to this dinner to see like what the competitor was doing, and he yelled at me and told me that Lincoln shouldn't be doing this, and it's not real bourbon, and go back and take this garbage whiskey with me. And I was just like, oh no, never meet your heroes. And now that same company has finished whiskey. So what's cool is like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And
it's weird for Heaven Hill to behave like that.
No, I did not say that. I did not say that.
Jeremy wants to see the world burn.
Yeah, absolutely. It was either Heaven Hill or Jim Beam. I don't know which one
we'll
it
talk
was.
Later. And it's just like one of those things where no one was doing it, and now we are getting to the point where we can appeal to the TTB essentially to get our own category of finished Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Because it is Kentucky bourbon whiskey. It is straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey. We just do another thing. And Balvenie did it in 1983. I mean, like with the double wood, they did it with Scotch that was like the first wine cask finish. And then you saw it wasn't just Oloroso, it wasn't just another cask randomly that they put it in or whatever that was available to them. It was a purposeful flavor choice. And then Glenmorangie came on, and then everyone else. And, like, just because it wasn't something that hadn't been done before, it doesn't mean it shouldn't be. And now we see a market full of them. And that's great for us because we pioneered the way, and it's just opening up flavor profiles and using global ingredients. It's not just so local and secular. Like, use all of the tools you have within you to make the best product possible. Was that a bit of a soapbox?
No.
Okay.
No. I was encapsulated in that. I was like just watching the journey from like a local perspective, especially for Angel's Envy, because we don't have many finished bourbons. Actually, we don't have the range of bourbons you guys have in the US.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the fact that we're slowly chipping away at these international markets, and then we're seeing better brands. Like, how long has Angel's Envy Rye been on the shelves? And the fact we only saw it in Australia this year is mind-blowing. And, like, we had it at the American Whiskey Show, like, however many years ago, as, like, hey, we smuggled this bottle back from the US.
Yeah.
Have a taste.
Yeah, and it's like, this will probably be the last time you'll ever taste it. And the grey imports were coming in at, like, say, $250, $300 a bottle.
Dang.
Australians, what is that? That's, I'd say, maybe $150 US. Mm-hmm. Which isn't too far off the retail because it's like $100 US. I think I paid at the distillery maybe $90 US.
Yeah, like $89.99.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Americans love a 99-cent.
I know. I'm not sure why.
I don't
It's very strange.
get it.
And then
round up.
tax and stuff. You're like, why isn't just tell me what I'm supposed to be paying?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a larger conversation.
Yeah.
But,
No, we do it in Australia. Like we know what we're paying at like the register because we're like, all right, everything price is inclusive of GST. We don't have any state tax or federal tax, but it's pretty much the same thing.
yeah, we, these United States, where everyone does whatever they want in each individual state.
Pretty much. No, that also doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, just give me one rule to follow because one thing is fine in New South Wales and not fine anywhere else.
That's
like,
true.
Why?
The rye, though, to that point, so within their brand site, like if you look at a brand, their life cycle, we've been around since, technically speaking, launched the product in a hand that wasn't just internal, April 2011. So we've been around for under 15 years. So for us to get a second mark that was, again, like released as a once a year in 2013, then it became twice a year in 2014, and then it became 4 times a year 2015, 2016, and then it became a full-time offering as a part of our line extension in 2017. Technically speaking, like for it to be even like the prospect of it coming somewhere so far away as Australia, when we launched globally as a brand in 2020, for me, I'm like, it's a huge thing, and it's not that long. And the fact that everyone is like, why don't we have this? And we're so mad that it's taken so long for us to get is a great problem to have.
Oh, yeah. Demand is a great problem to have when you're trying to sell a product. The only problem with that is you don't want the consumers to get bored.
I know.
And that's when the grey market
it's a
just
push
comes
and a
in.
pull, yeah.
And it just I guess it holds that point. So unless you beat them on the price. So you're telling me we've got to wait another 10 years for us to see like Triple Oak.
Oh, God, I hope not. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think so.
God, no.
in the life cycle. You're like 2017 was like the rye say. It was like, full-time offering. So another 10 years. Okay, we're
No,
doing
because
it.
now Triple Oak is a full-time offering.
Yeah,
Again, with
straight
somebody,
to full time, right?
Yeah, okay.
So with somebody as capable as Owen,
Yes.
backed
Good egg.
by our incredible production team headed up by this man named Blake, who has been integral to the production, honestly, since Lincoln's past. And then someone with the ambition and the experience like Gigi at the helm, we're moving a little faster these days.
So I've been inside the, I'd say, production facility. We had like full walk through the distillery. Owen was amazing when I was there. How are you guys pushing out so much whiskey? It's such a tiny facility compared to everyone else. Like I walk through and they're like, I don't know, they're throwing millions, like tens of millions of dollars in their, I'd say, infrastructure. to run these distilleries, get out so many case numbers. The fact that you guys are, what do you have? Like, I'm trying to remember, 8 fermenters or something? Like, I'm just trying to remember
one mash, 1 cooker, 8 fermenters, 1 beer well. Our still is, and I'm sorry about the metric, 34 foot tall with 16 plates, 28 inch in diameter. She was only supposed to produce like, Vendome told us it was like a max of like something like 800,000 proof gallons or something. And last year we hit 2.1 million proof gallons.
That's
I know. It's 125 barrels a day. Essentially, we fill 5 days a week.
yeah.
But it's about being smart, choiceful, and then having the right rollout plan so we're not depleting our stock just to fill a shelf. It takes everyone. Like, I compare it, because I worked in bars for so long, to really uniting the back of the house and front of the house, because neither will exist on their own, right? If you don't have someone to serve the food, you can't serve the food.
Exactly.
Without food to serve, we can't make any money or serve the people. So I think by having a clear line of communication and unification between the people who are selling it, the people who are talking about it, the people who are procuring the barrels to make sure that we have them, the people who are putting the juice in the barrels, all of that. And then, oversight from, I think that our leadership team, rather than being hands-off, is very hands-in. And they are very receptive to feedback. And because we're a small company, it makes us agile. Louisville Distilling is underneath Bacardi, but we are a very agile company in the fact that we can pivot quickly. And rather than kind of being like, hope this works, we're like, let's just go for it and make it work. And I think that's really gotten us far. So we'll see.
Is that because you guys are so small on the grand scheme of things, where you only have 120 employees working at the distillery, so you can just go, well, we're going to pivot on this product? Like,
yeah, I think it's 120 or so in Louisville proper.
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
have like
like-
RMs and some brand team members and stuff that live in Miami.
of course.
I think the openness of communication is what helps us the most, because if we have a test ground almost at the distillery, right? We have distillery guardians who do the tours and who do the tastings, and they hear the consumer right away. We are not detached from our consumer. Our brand ambassadors on the ground, our brand educators on the ground, hear from the consumer right away and give that feedback. So if we're hearing something's not going right, or the narrative is not being explained properly, or there's a lot of confusion about like the name or the process or whatever, we're able to fix it in the moment. Maybe not the moment, but we can correct it then for those people. But then we can broadly get it out there and be like, hey, we've been hearing this feedback, blah blah. Let's make sure we're on the same page. And I think that's absolutely number one important, because when you lose contact with the consumer or the trade, you lose it all.
So how important is the narrative for Angel's Envy?
Intensely important. Again, being a new brand, being a pioneer in a category of which didn't exist and technically legally still doesn't, if we start to lose our North Star, then, we'll be lost at sea kind of. So I think it's very important to remember every time we hire someone, from a retail specialist who samples things in the liquor store, to the brand ambassador, I talk to them, I interview them. I sat on interviews with the bartenders who are going to bartend at the distillery bar. It's important to make sure the right people are there, because if you have the wrong people, who knows? You have to have a good crew. And without the good crew, your ship sinks. And if your ship doesn't get to port to talk to everyone about what you're doing, none of it matters. So it's in the small details. You can always look at the big picture, of course, and I'm glad that I don't have to look at it from a financial sense, because that's not my talent. Somebody else is doing it. I'm just there to make sure that what we're saying, we're all singing from the same book, essentially, and we're also not lying to everyone. We're being transparent, and we're being open with the information. Again, do what you will. You're an adult, so you can take all the things that we give and appreciate it and want to continue drinking Angel's Envy and supporting us in other ways, or you move on, kind of thing. But I think it's very important that we maintain the ethos that we have. And I'm just so happy to have a master distiller like Owen, because we weren't lost at sea when Lincoln passed. We had all his white pages and we had his processes, and we had a really good, solid production team. And a couple of Lincoln's friends came in to help Connor McGregor, who's at, I think he's at Heaven Hill now. He worked with him a lot at Brown Forman. But we,
UFC guy.
Pardon?
The UFC guy.
Oh my God, I said the wrong Connor.
You definitely said Conor McGregor.
I
She did, yeah.
Please,
I was like,
can we
yeah,
edit
that's...
that out? No, Connor Driscoll. Oh my God, he's gonna be so mad at me. Connor Driscoll helped out a little
Proper
bit.
12. That's
Oh
what
my God.
Angels Envy was
The
pushing
worst
out.
whiskey and the worst dude.
I'm
so sorry. Can we
that's
edit
beautiful.
that? Is that a thing? Are we live? Christ on a
Jeremy's leaving that
cracker.
in on purpose.
And then I just said he's the worst guy. He's probably going to punch me if he sees me.
Conor McGregor.
I hope I never run into him.
I think he likes punching women anyway, so I'm going to
Gross.
make
I think
sure.
that's his favourite
So
Yeah,
gross.
that's
I hope I didn't
the-
manifest that.
the worst.
So Connor Driscoll is the man that's a master still. He's amazing, and he's helped us out a lot. And he's really cool, and I feel terrible. Anyways, okay, well, let's get back to the Christ on a cracker. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
How imperative is the story to the... No,
No, that was something else.
that was something else.
That's right.
I've got us
Lost it.
completely off track.
No, you're fine.
See,
You're
that's
fine.
what
I'm all
happens when
about
you
it.
lose the North Star and you talk
See?
about some terrible MMA person or whatever.
Exactly.
North Star.
All right, another
I love
topic.
it. I love it.
Great. Jesus Christ.
So I brought a bottle with me. I thought it'd be fun to kind of bring it along. This is technically the first single barrel of Angel's Envy in Australia, but I heard there was a funny story behind it. I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get in for telling the story.
I
Tell
don't
it.
either.
But
She just called somebody Conor McGregor. So
Oh my
you're
God. I can't believe I did that.
it's fine. It's fine. So I had the I'd say co-owner of D Wine Spot on last week before. I can't remember how busy my schedule is. But he was telling me the story about this bottle, and he teamed up with, I'd say, 2 importers in Australia to bring
Oh, right.
this bottle of Angel's Envy in. I heard he got into a bit of trouble for beating Bacardi to the punch, essentially, for bringing in a bottle of single barrel Angel's Envy when you guys were trying to launch a brand here.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Is this the one that they just bought in?
No.
No. So this
Ages
wasn't the
ago.
one. Yeah, this was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, because you can tell by the label. This is the new label.
Yeah.
Or this is the old label.
Old
versus-
label.
yeah.
There's a new label.
Yeah, they were
And a new
definitely
bottle.
not stoked.
No,
Not stoked about it.
Yeah, he was saying there was they weren't able to pick another single barrel for quite a while.
Yeah.
This is Cheesemay, but so that's what I call gossip. Cheesemay, Cheesemosa. Do you guys know this? It's
No,
like
I
a
No,
okay,
this is
all right.
this is new to me.
Yeah. It's my Puerto Rican. So, anyways, okay. I do recall this. It was more water cooler chat.
Yeah.
My colleague Deja Lawson, who has been with Angels Envy for a while, she actually helped build out the distillery as far as the experience went and stuff. She was challenged with creating a single barrel program for Angels Envy. And the one thing, Deja is incredibly intelligent and super organized. And so we only did 25 test barrels 4 years ago at this point for single barrel to see how the program would run and everything else. And I don't know how he managed to get it to Australia. But I can imagine that once that happened, she was like, well, now you don't get shit. I don't want to misspeak or anything, but I can imagine, when you're building something out and then sort of somebody goes rogue, that you want to punish them.
I think it's
I'm not
the
sure.
old grey market kind of
absolutely.
situation,
Yeah.
which is always hard.
I don't
You're
know
right
what
when
that
you're
means.
trying to.
What's a grey market?
Oh, at the black market.
Yeah,
But
black
why
market.
is it grey?
Because it's not totally illegal.
Yeah, so this is
Interesting.
the grey market is legitimate goods, but brought in through improper channels. The same way people were importing, say, I don't know, the rye, for example.
Yeah.
These retailers were just buying it from the US, getting it shipped over, and selling it here. as like the same product, but not done through Bacardi channels.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the
Patron
entre-
XO.
Yeah, and now it's like
Now it's
back up for sale. I didn't realize I bought a heap of it at auction. I wouldn't say I overpaid for it. I think I paid maybe $80 or $90 a bottle.
Oh, it's probably about the same now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If
yeah,
not more.
now I've got a heap. And I don't know if I'm going to ever drink it, but I got it.
Hey,
it's
espresso
like-
martinis are all the rage. You should
Hey.
probably go ahead and make those at your house. I mean, I like the entrepreneurial spirit of it.
Yeah.
But
it's just
also-
hard when you're launching a brand in a market and then it's like, cool, but what's
Frustrating.
that one though?
What's that one?
See,
What's that
that's where we can't control the narrative. And so it's like, sure, this person might know a ton about whiskey, might know a ton about bourbon, maybe somehow picked this and got a little bit of information, but without the proper structure and support of the Angels Envy team, like maybe if this was a person's first experience with Angels Envy and there was no one to talk to them about it because this guy just brought it in and then went to his house because he doesn't work for Angels Envy, who cares? You know, that's not the best way to do things, right? There is a reason why we do what we do. So I can see that being a bit of a conflict of interest.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because, as mentioned earlier, the team was over in Kentucky and we did pick a barrel of Angel's Envy. So it'll be interesting to see the arc of how that does when it finally lands. Will we be seeing more single barrels in Australia from like a Bacardi point of view?
It's definitely something that we've spoken about.
It's all capital, right?
Yeah, and I guess just like anything, you want to do it with the right people. And so with the guys that just went over, it was the right group or right retailer to do it with.
Yeah.
For us next, if we're going to do something on premise, it would probably be with an on premise group that has the capacity to sell it, because that's also it's a big investment, right? Like it's not just 2 cases of Angels. You know, there's a lot more in a barrel. So for us, it's also about do they have the capacity to sell it and to talk about it and to, you know, get it to the customer. That's really important.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to single barrel, because if you're getting this really exclusive, well, completely exclusive liquid, it needs to be the right fit.
Which makes sense, but it makes it hard for like an on-prem to actually execute on that well, because it's such a short amount of time for them to serve drinks. And they go, well, actually, I've got to talk you through this liquid that we had a team go over there and pick and now bring back and sell to you by the glass.
Yeah, it's definitely for us not necessarily going to be like just I think the people that we were looking at were more restaurants types where you have the ability to actually talk about the liquid and then probably do events and activations and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Our team comes in to support, launch it, celebrate it, temple moments around, like if it's National Bourbon Day, okay, let's do something, whatever. But also giving the staff the right training where it is a quick, this is what it is, this is why it's different, this is why it's cool, this is why you should try it. And we've had the most success, well, I won't say we, but on-premise accounts I feel like have had the most success with the single barrel if they're incredibly high volume but high level of hospitality, or they have a whiskey club attached to the venue. So they're able to sell it from 2 different outlets. It's by the bottle to their members or by the drink to the people who come in.
Will we see any more activations come to Australia in like a consumer-focused fashion from your team?
Kayla and Monty are hard at work.
Oh, I see them like sweating at the whiskey shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My feet hurt by the end of those things.
I hate my
You always
life.
want to take a picture
Yeah.
when I'm trying to talk. And
Not about it. I couldn't agree more. But I don't want to be on the other end of that camera.
Yeah,
So,
correct. I mean,
hence
for
why I
us, consumer-wise, like that's... We dealt last year. Last year was, I guess, our launching year, and it was definitely about trade on and off premise and getting them to understand who Angel's Envy is. Monty says it's called being seen, right? Like,
Yeah.
right people need to see
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Classic
But
Monty.
for us, that's definitely, he's going to love that.
Yeah.
For us, it was definitely about the trade, understanding who Angel's Envy is, because you made a great point earlier today, Angel. The trade are the ones who give the recommendations and kind of help dictate what's going to sell on a shelf or online, however it might be, right, to the consumer. So last year was definitely about trade. This next year, it's then about how can we now get in front of consumers more. We know that a lot of people will buy whiskey during Father's Day and Christmas time, and it's normally the wives, girlfriends, mums, daughters, whatever. It's normally the females in the man's life that are buying the whiskey. In Australia, I think the States is 50-50 now. Like, you're pretty well even. In Australia, it's still majority men are drinking whiskey, and majority women are buying it for the men in their lives. So we're also thinking, how can we, I guess,
Educate the women.
Yeah, educate the women, because also if it's there, my mum's not a whiskey drinker, but if Dad pours out a little bit, she'll have a glass with him.
Yeah.
But that's not the first thing that she's going to reach for. And I think most women do quite like a little something.
Yeah.
And Angel's Envy is very approachable, especially the port finish is super approachable. So this year it's definitely more about consumer and educating the women, and then also activating over those Christmas and sort of Father's Day time periods. Father's Day in Australia is later in the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say we just rolled out
September
a
time.
Father's Day in the US. What?
Yeah, it was like last Sunday or something.
Last Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a dad, so I don't care.
That's I don't keep track of it. I'm
just kidding. My mom's my dad. So
Yeah,
I have
so-
to send her presents 2 times.
For both.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. Mine's the same in my household. It's fine. It's fine. It's
I like to say
oh,
father figure.
Yes, that's smart. Yeah. Yeah, so for us it's definitely around like the end of the year, which is comical because, and Angel, I think, has spoken about this, and it's definitely a strategy for Angel's Envy, but we see majority of whiskey being drunk in winter, but September and December are like much warmer months in Australia. So it is kind of funny. So for us, it's also about different ways of drinking whiskey, or, you know, and not just Angel's Envy, whiskey in general, but Angel's Envy that isn't just neat or isn't just an old fashioned. How can we make it something long and spritzy and super refreshing, instead of somebody reaching for a beer or a wine to cool them down, reach for this, whatever it might be.
Like, for instance, I'm drinking Angel's Envy with the Bundaberg, like, sparkling grapefruit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's delicious. If I had
Super
a little
funky.
raspberry syrup, it would be like a blinker variation. And it's delicious. It's long. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
I would drink this when it was sunny out. I mean, for me, I guess, like, especially in Sydney, and I'm very, I don't know a ton, but it feels
You've
like
been here 36 hours.
I was going to say,
I know. It just feels
rolled
a
off
little
a
bit,
plane.
it feels a bit warmer. Like, it doesn't snow here.
It must be nice. It was like last week. It was pouring down with rain. Like, you picked the right week.
Yeah, you actually got great weather.
Well,
like
tomorrow's
freezing.
great. We're gonna knock on wood there, but I'm just saying, like, again, getting outside of the trope of what everyone thinks bourbon whiskey should be, and challenging that is what I'm all about. So you don't always have to have it in an old fashioned. It can be fun. It can be summery. It can be refreshing, because at the end of the day, it's a spirit that's taken a long time to make, and every part of the process is very meticulous. And so why put yourself, again, in a box where you're not utilizing the spirit for all it can be?
I'm going to drop one of my finishing questions early, but is there any cocktail recommendations you'd have? Because since you're part of, like, developing these cocktails for, say, on-prem, off-prem, is there any cocktail recs you can share for Angels?
I mean, our hero serve is definitely a Manhattan. I know old fashions perform very well in Australia, but we love to do 60 mLs of Angels, 30 of a very nice vermouth, red vermouth, and then just like 5 to 7.5 ml of Ruby Port, just to bring out the port finish in a nice way. 2 dashes of Ango. I personally prefer it on a Big Rock with a lemon twist rather than a cherry, just to kind of brighten it, bring out a little bit of the citrus notes. But for a summer serve, we're we're giving it a go. So we're calling it a day cap when you don't necessarily, when your day ends, you shut the laptop, you know, it's not quite sunset yet. It's not the nighttime. You just want a nice cocktail to kind of cap off your day. And the serve for that is a peach smash.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. So, and like, how do we make it simple? Like, not everyone wants to muddle and shake and do all these things to make a smash, yeah? So, essentially just Angel's peach syrup with a sparkling lemonade on top. And just
yum.
a touch of lemon juice to kind of balance it out. But the peach goes so nicely, that stone fruit, like, picks up all the stone fruit you get from the port finish. And then that bit of vanilla kind of rounds it out from the oak aging, yeah? It's really good, man. It was almost too simple for me, where I was like, are you sure we want to go with this? And then I was like, everyone loves it, and the peach just makes so much sense. For me, when I'm at my house, I kind of do a little bit of an elevated serve with it. I do triple oak, a really nice peach eau de vie, and then cremant on top.
Screams
sparkling
bougie.
wine. I know. I like to be bougie, even though
I'm all
not.
about it. You don't have to sell me on it.
I'm from a very trashy place, so I like to be classy sometimes to just really buck that trend.
You're speaking to the hood rat of Australia. I am
Wait, what'd you call him?
Bogan.
bogan. Yeah. You can take that back with you. You're just like, yeah, spoken
Daytona
some
Beach
bogan.
bogan. Is that a thing?
No,
Yeah.
it has to be.
Yeah.
Okay,
it has
great.
to be.
Dead.
It's not quite your
I'm
rednecks,
still
it's the
caught up on the
ferals.
fact I called him. Like, get out of my head. Forget about it.
Oh, I love it.
I'm
I
going to have
love
to
it.
send him flowers or something. Okay. Not the other Connor.
No, it's
The good Connor.
there's a wrong
Not the
person you
bad
want to be
Connor.
sending flowers to.
Oh my God.
It's
Could do it just for fun.
Yeah.
See what
be
happens.
thrown to.
Absolutely
What?
not. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Again, off track. So those
You're
are
fine,
two
you're fine.
bake serves. When I go out, I like to order an Angels and Me Aperol Spritz, which I get a little bit of a raised eyebrow, but it's really just 20, 30 ml of Angels in an Aperol Spritz. It's delicious. Me personally, I can drink one like quick,
Yeah.
just to this go.
That's the thirst quencher.
There's
Yeah.
yes, we call them patio pounders,
Yeah,
essentially, affectionately in the South. But Angels just like lengthens it and kind of like gives it a nice solid foundation. I think that's the big part of what I like about Angels is that it's like, it is whiskey, but it's got like these soft shoulders that just kind of lengthens any drink that you want to put it in. But it works well with fortifieds, of course. That's a natural pairing. And then I think anything but the things I would avoid, I guess, are like really light, almost succulent fruits like cucumbers. Like that doesn't work so well.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the cucumbers.
Yeah, or like peppers and stuff. Like hot spicy with whiskey is like not a good pairing for me personally. I know Fireball's like a thing of the I don't know if it's
That's
so
the
cool.
F word we don't use on this podcast.
Okay.
That's
the only F word you
yeah,
ban.
well, so everything else is on the table. You can talk about
That's,
Conor McGregor all you
reserved
want,
for
but
nightclubs.
yeah, it's a not sold.
It's that's not really something that's like worked super well for me. Personally, just because the aging, there's something about barrel aged spirits with spice. There's something there that's like not quite, but
Which is interesting because like rye is typically spicy, but it's like a different kind
it's
of
like
spice.
an earthy spice.
Yeah.
And there's like a nice, it's almost like a baking spice
Yeah.
rather than a capsicum spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice that you guys are using the rum finished. I don't even know what that was.
It's Conor McGregor.
I thought it was my chair for a second. I was like, what happened?
Just screaming.
I actually think it was Monty.
Wouldn't surprise me. Classic Monty.
He's like practicing for baby noises.
Must be. Freak.
I didn't see him push his face up on the glass or anything, so we should be okay. So maybe it's Monty telling us to wrap up.
Okay. Or Miss Penny.
Well, I might fire off some questions to see if you have like some sweet spots within your palate. Do you have like a perfect proof range that you like your bourbon?
Oh, I do. Yes. Anything. I like things typically under 100 proof. But my sweet range, or my sweet spot, as you call it, is 86.6 or 43.3%, which are port finishes.
Yeah, I was going to say port finished.
But I really like it. Like, I don't like to go higher than, honestly, like 98 or so. We did a big comparison tasting. We're always like tasting at the distillery and stuff.
Terrible problem.
I know, right?
Really hard.
Real hard
Tough
job.
gig.
And my favorite, like what we were doing, was a 94. But I typically, or what is that? 47%? Is that right?
Would you say
94?
Yeah.
Yeah, 94, 47, yeah.
Okay.
My math's off, but yeah, I trust those numbers.
I like it to be strong enough that it holds its weight in a cocktail, but not so strong you can't drink it neat. And so that's my threshold.
It's a good spot. Like, I agree with that. Especially with Angels as well, because like those sweetness notes intertwine. Like Australian palates are typically lead sweeter, so the fact that that's even at 83.
Yeah.
83.
No,
yeah,
86.6.
So 86, 43.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that we have like
Doing
proof
the
and
math.
percentage.
Listen, if America just get on board with this whole metric thing, it'd be great.
Oh yeah. The fact that you used mils in your cocktail rec was mind blowing to me.
Because that's what you use. If I could
Exactly.
do the math on like Fahrenheit and shit really quickly, like
Yeah.
I try my hardest. I really do. I'm not a math person.
No.
But anyways, there's something about, for me, I think the most underrated thing in whiskey is water. Like everyone wants everything at cast strength and everything else, but my palate personally needs water to compare the spirit against. If I don't have that, I don't have like a base. Like it's heat, and I can get flavors from it, but just a little bit of water, it really opens it up and literally physically gives your palate something to taste the spirit against. So that's important for me. I just think it's, you should try it, like cast strength, great, but then try it at least with a little bit of water to give yourself, like, just see what it does. You know, like in cocktails, nobody ever talks about, well, we are talking about it more now, I guess, but dilution, like, again, an underrated ingredient. A cocktail without proper dilution isn't a proper cocktail. Water makes all the difference.
And Cal, do you have a...
I'm anything below 50%. I think sometimes it depends on the time of day, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Time of day, but I would say if I'm like 50%, 100 proof or lower.
Are you saying higher for breakfast cocktails or lower?
And it just depends on what I've eaten
Or the day, right?
or
Yeah.
like what I'm about to
Are you
eat.
Yeah.
still awake?
Do I have a pasta coming? Like what's,
Yeah.
pasta always. But yeah, I think happiness is normally around, anything below 50%. Ultimate happiness, like 44, 45%. Like that's probably my
That 90 proof
threshold if I
range,
haven't
yeah.
eaten anything.
And ladies, if you could share a dram with any historical figure,
Oh my God.
Ever
Who
in
would
the
it be?
entire world.
just anyone, like...
Dead or alive, doesn't matter.
Either.
Seems like a large question.
Yeah, it's a very, very large...
That I guess we haven't shared one.
Yeah, that you haven't shared one with.
Yeah, because I do that all the time.
Yeah, that's... Well, you would, like, because you're hanging out in the bourbon law country. You'd be seeing some incredible figures, like the ones that told you not to do Finnish whiskey and tip it down the drain. Those ones from... I don't know. I was going to throw out another brand, but I don't want to kind of guess it, and you give me a look, and I'm like, oh,
Sorry.
bail.
Jeez.
I would say, because I obviously didn't get to meet the man, and I can't say Audrey Hepburn.
Why not?
I could.
You could.
Two then. Audrey Hepburn and Lincoln Henderson would be my number two. Because for me, a lot of my hero bartenders I've got to have a drink with. I got to meet Francois Thibault from Grey Goose earlier this year, and Dr. Anne Brock. So that's pretty cool. But for me, and Owen, obviously, I've had one or two beers with Owen, which has been nice. But I think Lincoln would have been really special. The way that Angel talks about him, and obviously the way that the information that we get about him, I think he would have been a pretty special human being, and that I think he would be super awesome.
Yeah.
Brandy. And also Audrey Hepburn.
I mean, I don't know. It'd be cool to sit with Lincoln now to be like, hey, dude, what do you think about all of the things that have happened, since 2013? Like, the distillery actually works. Can you imagine that happened? Like, we're doing it. Gosh.
Yeah, the amount of case numbers
Yeah.
that you're like pushing out coming off the
Right.
back of the conversation you had, where it's just like, oh, who cares if they don't like it? And
Right. I can't say all. I'm gonna push it back to only cocktails because like the amount of humans I want to talk to and have a cocktail with, but probably wouldn't give a shit about bourbon. So that's not fair to them. Like, why did you resurrect me just to talk about this whiskey?
It's Jesus, isn't it?
No, God, I'm sure he's fine.
A glass of wine with Jesus.
I was going to say Bloody Mary, but
It's fucked up. Okay. Honestly, being that I'm living in Kentucky and that part of the world right now, I would love to talk to Tom Bullock. Just to know what he went through as far as like being, one of the preeminent black bartenders and the venues he worked at and arguably responsible for the mint julep and so many cool drinks. And I think I just learned a lot about American history and the history of bourbon through his eyes. It would be really cool to talk to him. I'd love to get his perspective because I can't imagine it was an easy career or an easy choice at times. And I just have a lot of respect for what I imagine he went through working at a place like the Pendennis Club and everywhere else. So I'd love to hear his perspective on what he went through and then what he thinks about it today. I can't imagine it would be...
chalk and cheese.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
be really cool. All right. Well, thank you very much, ladies. I know you got a dinner to get to, so I appreciate you two taking the time.
They didn't feed me lunch. No.
How they?
I was actually thinking about that when I walked back. I went to the post office.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't see you when you came in. I was like, oh, we didn't have lunch.
Oh no.
Just snackies.
They just loaded you up with cocktails. And
It was my fault or your fault for the Connor slip up. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's
Penny's fault.
It's blame.
None of us.
Yeah,
It's never Penny's fault.
blame someone.
This was really great. If you could edit that Connor thing out.
Yeah. So,
No, just kidding.
It's now become a running joke.
Yeah, it's just the
It's actually going to be the
worst.
name of the...
Please don't, for the love of Christ. No. Just say,
Just add Conor
say drams with Jesus or something.
Bloody Marys with Jesus. I'm all about it. All right, ladies. Thank you so much. Did you want to plug your socials? Let us know any events that are happening. Be it Angels, Bacardi.
I'm sure there's like things, but I can't think of them.
Yeah,
generally.
that's fine.
My social is at Kayla Gregorio.
Nice.
Have fun spelling that.
I will. I've probably got it linked. I'll drop it in the description.
But yeah, I can't think of any events that we're doing. Whiskey show in Melbourne.
Yep.
Come see me.
I will see you in Sydney, but I will also now drop past the office. Now I know where you live, so that is...
Now I know where you live.
Yeah, that's the...
Whenever you want.
Yeah, that's it, pretty much. I'll just wear my Angel shirt. They'll let me in. It's fine.
Correct.
For my Instagram is at, of course, I guess, Angel Sharing Angels Envy. It's a bit long, but it's worth it. And if you come to Tales, we're doing a really fun day cap party to celebrate the Peach Smash and our new summer campaign. We have one of the top 50, Cobra from Columbus, Ohio, popping up with Mover and Shaker. It's going to be a really fun pool party on the rooftop of the Barnett in Tales of the Cocktail. We have a cute little party the night before for a nightcap. Hit me up on the DMs if you want an invite to that.
Slide into Angel's DM.
That sounds gross. And also, I'll be at Speed Rack that Sunday before Tales for finals. One of our hometown girls from Moondog is competing. So that's going to be really fun to see. And yeah, I'll be there Sunday to Thursday. So we're always bebopping around New Orleans. If you need the best place to drink or eat, I got a line for you.
I am going to hit you up for Rex, so...
Yeah. Are you going to be there?
I will, well, not in the next week or so, but I'll definitely make a trip.
No, Tales of the Cocktail.
No, I'd like...
You got to come.
As much as I'd love to, I'm not going to... Then work isn't going to give me some time off. The amount of time off I've taken in the last 6 months is ludicrous. Like I did Italy last year. I just came back from the US.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I know, tough gig. They're clearly paying me too much. I don't know what to say. But yeah, thank you again, ladies. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. And someone mentioned Conor McGregor in the comments or something.
On, Jesus Christ. Never going to live it down.
Him too as well.
That's what jet lag will get you.
Thanks for having us, Jez.
Bye. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.